The night had settled over a quiet stretch of highway, where the hum of neon lights flickered above a nearly empty convenience store. Inside, Mara Lewis, a 22-year-old cashier with tired eyes and a faded red shirt, wiped down the counter for the last time. The smell of coffee and cleaning spray hung in the air. It was supposed to be the end of another long shift, until the doorbell chimed. 3 men stepped in. Their boots hit the tile in heavy, deliberate rhythm. The tallest one grinned, his leather jacket creaking as he leaned on the counter. "We're not here to buy anything," he said, his voice low, mocking. The others laughed, spreading out like they owned the place. Mara froze. "I'm sorry, sir, we're closed," she managed, her voice trembling just enough to give her away. The man's grin widened. "Closed? For them, maybe. Not for me." His hand brushed the tip jar, knocking it over, coins scattering across the floor. She took a step back, heart pounding, eyes darting to the clock, 10 minutes past closing. The silence that followed felt wrong, too still. Somewhere in the back of the store, something shifted. A faint creak of boots on linoleum. The 3 men turned toward the noise. And from between the aisles, dark silhouettes began to move, broad-shouldered figures in leather vests, their eyes sharp under the dull light. The leader's voice cut through the air, low and controlled. "You boys picked the wrong store tonight. Because sometimes, when danger walks in uninvited, justice is already waiting inside. Subscribe to Acts of Kindness Stories, where courage still speaks louder than fear." The sound of boots scraping against tile broke the silence like thunder. The men who had swaggered in moments ago now stood frozen, their smirks fading as 3 figures emerged from between the aisles. The first was tall and broad-shouldered, his beard streaked with gray and his eyes cold as steel. The second had a bald head that gleamed beneath the fluorescent light, his knuckles wrapped in leather. The third, younger but no less intimidating, adjusted his sunglasses as if the situation bored him. The leader took one measured step forward. The patch on his vest read, "RL, Hell's Angels." His voice was calm, but it carried the kind of weight that made even loud men fall silent. "You might want to let her go," he said. Kyle, the tall one with the leather jacket, scoffed. "And who the hell are you supposed to be?" He tried to sound tough, but his voice wavered just enough to betray the fear creeping in. The biker didn't answer right away. He simply looked at Mara, his eyes softening for a moment, then returned to Kyle. "Let her go." A tense silence filled the room. The humming coolers, the buzzing lights, even the clock ticking on the wall seemed to fade. Then, with a defiant sneer, Kyle shoved Mara backward. "There, happy now?" The younger biker moved a step closer. "You got about 5 seconds to walk out that door before you regret breathing this air," he said, his tone calm but deadly serious. One of Kyle's friends snickered. "What, the grandpa's gonna fight us?" He nudged the other thug beside him. "Let's show these fossils what real men look like." The bald biker cracked his neck slowly. "Son, real men don't corner a woman at midnight." The tension snapped. Kyle lunged first, swinging his fist toward the leader's jaw. It never landed. The older biker caught it midair, twisted it behind Kyle's back, and drove him face first into the counter in one motion. The crash echoed through the store. Candy bars scattered. A shelf rattled. The second thug tried to run, but the younger biker was faster. He stepped in front of the man, blocking his path, and with one swift motion, knocked the breath out of him with a precise shove that sent him tumbling into the display stand. The third froze, hands raised, mumbling something about leaving. The bald biker walked him to the door with a hand on his shoulder and said quietly, "You should have left when she asked nicely." Then he shoved him outside, hard enough that the man stumbled into the parking lot light. Mara stood behind the counter, her breath shallow, her hands trembling. For the first time since the men entered, she could exhale. The leader turned to her, his expression soft again. You okay? She nodded, voice barely above a whisper. I think so. He looked around at the mess, the broken jar, the fallen shelves, the shattered glass from a knocked-over soda bottle. You shouldn't have to deal with this alone, he said. I'm fine, she tried to say, but her voice cracked. It's just, it happens more than it should. Guys coming in, thinking they can push me around. The leader's gaze lingered on her, the corners of his eyes tightening. Not tonight, it doesn't. The younger biker crouched beside Kyle, who was groaning on the floor, his cheek pressed against a puddle of spilled coffee. You done playing tough guy? Kyle spat, but the sound came out weak. You're dead, man. You hear me? You're all. Before he could finish, the older biker leaned down, his tone colder than before. You don't scare anyone here. You're leaving, you're not coming back, and if I hear you touched another girl in this town, he paused. I'll find you first. Kyle swallowed hard. Something in the man's eyes told him that wasn't a threat. It was a promise. The bikers stepped back, giving Mara space. She took a shaky breath and picked up her phone, her thumb hovering over 911. The leader noticed. You don't need to, he said gently. We'll stay until you close up. Make sure you're safe. Her lips trembled into something halfway between a smile and a sob. Why would you do that? He shrugged. Because once, someone did it for me. Minutes passed. The store felt different now, safer, warmer, though the lights still buzzed overhead. The thugs stumbled outside, clutching their bruised pride, but the leader followed them out with quiet authority. The parking lot bathed in pale moonlight, and the air smelled faintly of gasoline and rain. Keys, the leader said to his younger partner. The man tossed them. Engines roared to life, 3 Harley-Davidsons, polished chrome catching the night's glow. Kyle turned back one last time. You think you won, old man? You just wait. The leader walked toward him, slow, deliberate. No, he said. You'll wait, in cuffs. Right then, the red and blue glow of police lights flooded the street. The younger biker leaned against his bike, smirking. We called while you were pretending to be tough, he said. 2 officers stepped out of the cruiser. They recognized RL instantly. One of them, a young cop with a cautious smile, said, We've had a lot of complaints about this group. Guess you just helped us close a file. Kyle tried to protest, shouting that it was self-defense, but his lip was bleeding, his hand twisted awkwardly behind him. The cops didn't bother arguing. Within minutes, the men were cuffed and led away, their bravado gone. Back inside, Mara watched the flashing lights through the window. She sank onto the stool behind the counter, shoulders trembling, not from fear, but from release. The leader stepped inside once more. They'll be booked tonight. You'll need to give a statement tomorrow, he said. I will, she replied softly. Thank you, for being here. He nodded, resting his hands on the counter. You work nights alone often. Every other week, she said. It's the only shift left since I started school again. Trying to save for nursing. He looked at her for a long moment. Then you keep doing that. Don't let tonight stop you. For a second, there was quiet understanding between them, 2 people from different worlds, connected by a single night that neither would forget. The younger biker returned with a paper bag of bottled water and a few bills from his pocket. For the damages, he said. And the coffee you won't get paid for cleaning. She shook her head. You don't have to. We know, he replied. But we want to. Outside, the engines rumbled again. The roar of the Harleys filled the night, deep and steady like a heartbeat. Mara followed them to the door, watching as the 3 men rode off into the distance. When the sound faded, she looked down at her reflection in the glass, the same tired eyes, but something new behind them. Strength. Gratitude. A spark she thought she'd lost. The next morning, local news picked up the story. Late-night assault stopped by biker group, the headline read. The police report named the 3 suspects, each with prior records. Mara's name wasn't mentioned, at her request, but the station received dozens of calls from viewers thanking the unknown men who stepped in. Days later, the leader returned quietly. She was stocking shelves when the doorbell chimed. He nodded toward her with a small smile. Place looks better. I fixed what they broke, she said, smiling faintly. He slid a card across the counter. It read, R.L. Lewis, Community Writers Alliance. Underneath, we don't look away. If you ever feel unsafe again, call that number, he said. She looked down at the card, realizing for the first time they shared the same last name. Lewis, she asked. He grinned. Guess it runs in the bloodline of stubborn people. They both laughed softly. He turned to leave, but before he reached the door, she called out, RL, why help people like me? You don't even know me. He stopped, looked back, and said simply, I know what it's like to be alone and wish someone would walk through that door. Then he was gone. Weeks passed. Mara's confidence returned. She started closing shifts with the lights a little brighter, the door locked a little earlier, and her heart a little steadier. Every night before leaving, she'd glance at the card taped near the register. Months later, a fundraiser appeared online for a local women's shelter, sponsored by the Community Writers Alliance. Mara donated her week's tips anonymously. She didn't need credit. She already had what she needed, the proof that kindness still existed, even in the unlikeliest places.